Feel like I just got a whole bunch of homework. No. Yeah. Does nobody wonder why they're dressed differently? Hello fellow anime geeks, and welcome to another first impression video in this 2020 spring season and my personal mission to try absolutely everything that I can. Today I tried BUNGOU to Alchemist. Just a disclaimer, this is going to be a negative video, so if you don't want to hear some random girl on the internet rant about your much beloved franchise, then you might want to close this video out now. As usual, I'll be organizing my thoughts by answering these 4 questions, and hopefully you can determine if this is worthwhile for you. The mal tags for this were action, adventure, and fantasy, and I would agree that this is a fantasy action adventure, but honestly, I don't know what all it's trying to be. There's
reincarnation, astral projection, book worlds, magic, a mysterious cat that talks, soul trapping, and
weird monster bad guys with no clear objective. At first I thought that there was some sort of misunderstanding with the title because there was no mention of alchemy in all of episode 1, and then in episode 2 they mentioned that this whole premise was orchestrated by somebody called the Alchemist, and it took me way too long reading the wiki on the game that this is based on to realize that that's probably the player character. I'm usually already pretty hesitant about getting excited about an anime adaptation of a game because I feel like it's really difficult to take game elements and then translate that into a coherent narrative, but this is the most confused that I've ever been. What I did get is that these reincarnated souls, and pardon me, also some astral projections of famous Japanese writers throughout time, are told to dive into stories to prevent them from getting rewritten and consequently destroyed by these mysterious bad guys called the Tainted. Our protagonist is basically forced to join the fight when his soul or projection of his soul or copy of him is mysteriously trapped inside one of his books. You know it's a solid story component when it's described as mysterious. I actually really enjoyed each of these components standalone. I don't think that the idea of entering a book and the story within is really all that original, but it hasn't really been overplayed and there's a lot of exploration and possibilities still there. I also really like the idea of making these famous writers the heroes of the story. I think that's pretty cool. And I really like the idea of fighting by rewriting the morals of stories. I think that's really interesting and has quite a bit of potential in and of itself, but all mixed together and not one thing explained doesn't really make for a good cohesive story. This is the point where I usually try my best to be objective and try to imagine the different types of audiences with different types of tastes that would find this anime worthwhile, but I just can't imagine this one being worth anybody's time. That being said, I cannot even imagine the amount of hard work that goes into creating an anime, and my respect goes to the animators who did a beautiful job in the opening for this, and the voice actors who tried to keep me engaged, trying to figure out exactly what the premise of this story was. Unfortunately, nothing really made sense to me. I didn't really understand the combination of things, and I did not like the protagonist and his whiny, selfish, irresponsible personality. Fans of the game, do you think that this anime did a good job of adapting it? And on that question, I'll catch you in the next video. It seems to be about collecting good-looking 2D guys. I found myself asking why quite a bit with this show. Confused as to why we seem to be in Rome What? What? Hmm? What? How?